Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome back by my account. We're a little bit late this evening. My lovely wife had a class this evening. She's just finishing up, so we got a little bit of a late start. I'm Ian. This is my lovely wife.
Rachel.
And we are of Big Family Life in the Simpson family home and 4Fs with the Simpson family. Big family life because obviously we're a blended family of 10, and, that creates some unique opportunities. And the 4Fs is faith, family, food, and fitness. Faith because we believe we can do all things through Him who loves us. Family because aside from God, there's nothing more important on this earth. Food because food is medicine. And fitness because we believe that overall wellness can be achieved by attaining and maintaining a strong mind, body, and soul. This is a segment that we call Real Talk. This is where we dive into some issues that we've had to overcome in our personal journeys, as well as our combined journeys as God has brought us together as a blended family, and how we use the tenets of faith, family, food, and fitness to kind of overcome our day-to-day struggles and manifest our best lives. Tonight's topic is, sweetheart?
Fitness in the Simpson family home.
Fitness in the Simpson family home. Fitness is a big part of what we do around here, so my lovely wife wanted to talk about it. So
it was just something. It was like, what could we talk about today? And I was like, what about fitness? That is a part of our daily routine and structure, and it has a lot of benefits here at the home. The kids are very involved. It wasn't like that at the beginning. However, with repetition and encouragement, the first question is, what are we doing today? Because we have a routine.
Yeah.
So typically our day starts out with remote class starts at 9 p.m. Oh wow, 9 a.m.
Yeah, we've got night schoolers.
And so around 8:30 they're outside already warming up, and so they go through a 15-minute warm-up. So just before that it's stretching, making sure they're loosening their muscles, and then they do a 15 bully juice. Is it 10 minutes?
10
I thought
minutes.
It was 15.
It's only 10 minutes.
Oh, so it's 10 minutes, and then we call it the bully juice.
That's the name of the and we give a quick plug out to him because he does some fantastic stuff on YouTube. He's got a huge following, and if you're at all interested in taking a next step in your fitness journey, then for sure check him out. He's awesome.
And so they do the 10-minute bully juice, and what that is just, working on cardio, a bit of core and calisthenics there. So
Warm up,
everybody's involved. And what we've noticed, what it benefits the children is that, with that little bit of, because they're up at like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, they've had breakfast, and then, waiting for school to start, they actually will, do their little fitness thing, and then once it's time for class, they're ready to settle again. So they're able to let off whatever energy they've already stored up in in the morning time, and they're able to release it. And then school. So school, usually they have gym class, and because they're at home for school, the school has them. I think their gym teachers have them doing daily logs.
Right.
And so they actually record what they've done during the day, and just before lunchtime, they will, like, everybody's kind of and has their lunchtime.
Lunch.
Is it staggered now?
They're still staggered.
Oh, they're still staggered. Okay.
Yeah.
So around from 11:30, 12:30, they're ending their classes. However, they're given their structure routine already, so they can already go do that on their own. And so that will either be they run 7.5 kilometers one day.
Twice a week. Twice a week we run 7.5.
I know, but I said one day. And then the next day it is steeplechase, which involves sit-ups, push-ups, and
300 sit-ups, 300 push-ups over the course of running. How many kilometers? About 3 kilometers.
3 kilometers?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 300 sit-ups and 300 push-ups sounds like a lot. Love you, baby. However, when you're breaking it down as we do, then you're only doing 25 at a time, and then you're running. So, sure, go ahead, sweetheart.
No, go ahead. What's the other
No,
one?
no, finish up, please.
No, I can't remember what the other one is.
Oh,
I've
so
run out of-
we have one called the Chamber of Doom.
That's
Yeah, I named that one. Called the Chamber. It's not a lot of fun. It's not a lot of fun at all. But the kids, they get into it, and I mean, they enjoy it now.
Yeah, and what it is, it's also age appropriate.
Yeah.
And it's where they are at physically. So like Callie's a different creature. I'd like to say, because she'll be watching a cartoon in the evening, and then all of a sudden she breaks out into push-ups.
And calisthenics in
and
the middle of the living room floor. Yeah.
Yeah, and so for her, like, 'cause she just has this body type where she looks like a little gymnast.
Yeah.
Or
a little fitness model walking around with a little ponytail.
And she's got like these shoulders and muscles already, and she's only 8 years old. So it's age appropriate for the kids, and we challenge them to increase it within a time frame. So they start out at started out at 5, and then they increase over time. It's not like we said, okay, let's go do 50 push-ups like right now, and then you're setting them up to fail. So it's nice to see it. And Jordan, like, what do I say about Jordan? That kid has grown within the last, I think, this past summer. Like, he's put on a lot of muscle mass.
His shoulders are just as wide as mine now, and when you consider that he was just a rail thin. And he's 6'6", so he's quite a specimen. He's quite impressive. Him and his brother are quite impressive.
So the Chamber of Doom is it requires a lot of
mental toughness.
Yeah.
It really does.
And I guess what started us on this journey.
Sure.
Jasmine.
Yeah.
Jasmine, she showed an interest last year, and she was like, "Oh, I'm going to go for a run." And we're like,
when we first moved into this area here, it's kind of just a little community that we live in. So, one way in, one way out for the time being. No trees. They planted trees, but they're going to take years to grow. So she would take to running by herself at a time. When we moved in, I just was recovering from the right hip replacement surgery. And so she was just running by herself. And that was not cool. However, I couldn't run at that time. I couldn't run. And it was actually almost a year to the day. If you look at the time frame that we're in right now, what are we, almost March?
Yep.
So we started a year ago. And it wasn't easy because I had the hip replacement. I had the right hip replacement in 2018, my love?
19.
2019? Are you sure? Are you sure? 19? Okay. I had I had the right hip replacement in 2019, and then the left hip was just horrible, just on the way out, and it was like, and I had the surgery and started the rehab, and I was just in a really bad place, physically overweight. I was probably about 250 pounds. And, I would say that the first thing to do when you are experiencing joint pain and things like that, arthritis, any kind of joint or hip and muscular pain, personal lived experience, give yourself a chance to recover. Give your body a chance. Help your body as much as you can. How you doing, Marcus? Thanks for stopping in. And I should say very quickly, because we're, God bless you all, we have a separate app that's managing the multiple platforms that we stream to. So while on this app here that I'm looking at right now, while I can see that we have a couple of viewers, I can't at all see who you are unless you send us a comment and we can interact and give you a shout out, or you can be a silent observer. God bless you. We're just happy to have you with us. So for me, it was just, hey buddy. Yeah, if you want to give your body a chance, because you can, intentionally heal your body, and your body can intentionally repair itself under by grace. God did give us the ability to do that. And if you want to intentionally have a chance at healing your body, I would suggest that if you are in fact overweight, that would be the first step. The very first step is to just get your weight in line with what is healthy for your body type. And notice I didn't say that you need to have a beach body, or no. That's not all that muscle different. That's not what I'm saying. Just get your weight in line with what is healthy for your body type. And then that's a great start, because I found that once I helped my body to take the pressure off the joints, then I was able to start to intentionally work at healing the body. So that's what really got us going. That and Phoenix, our 14-year-old daughter, she she was overweight a couple years ago. She was that's fair to say, she was fairly overweight.
It was what she was consuming. And for her, that it was just that awkward stage. And so it was an easy conversation with her, is like, do you want us to set you up to fail or to succeed? And she said to succeed. Like that's her mindset already. And so she's
She's very goal oriented.
Yeah, and
Very
she
driven.
really put in that work, and so she's actually made quite a transformation. And yeah, so
And then there's Ryder.
Yeah, then Ryder.
Ryder
with
was
little
overweight.
Quick feet.
Quick feet Ryder.
And he actually made a remark or I guess a statement to us, is that he never wants to be big again.
Which was like, I think that was pivotal, because once we started down this path, and honestly, a lot of it was me taking charge and saying, no, as dad, I'm going to make an executive decision and say that as a family, we are going on this fitness journey together. I'm not going to dictate to you what, I want you to go out there and do. I'm going to lead the charge. And I made an executive decision. I made an executive decision as a parent to say that I want to give you these healthy habits now that can last you a lifetime, that we believe will improve your quality of life. Right? So we started out and we went that route, and it was snow and ice, and let me tell you, there were a lot of tears. Mostly by me crying out of frustration and pulling out my hair. As you see me, I'm bald. A year later, I'm bald. And you see, a moment ago, she was praising Jordan, how he's come. So let me tell you, that guy had me so frustrated one day that I was on the bike, because I wasn't running yet. And it was a windy day, and I was going hard. And I mean, I was so frustrated by his lack of effort. And I had my head down, and I was just, and the next thing I know, I'm on my back. And I'm like, what just happened? Did I just hit a car? And sure enough, yeah, I look up and I'd hit a parked car and flipped over the back of it. And so that told me two things. That I needed to take better control of my anger.
And it was funny because Jasmine and Brooke had witnessed him.
They saw me from behind,
do a flip over the handlebars.
Bad hip and everything, yeah, head over heels right over the handlebars, and I'm on my back, winded. I'm like, and so I put away the bike, and let me tell you, as a parent, to observe the progress that my children have made, our children. If you're a parent, you understand. To know that you had any small, as a parent, any small thing to do to contribute to the success of your child is a very empowering feeling. And when I see the progress, when I'm running with baby, and where I look down and I see her there for me step for step, let me tell you this, You know, that I'm a girl dad, right? You know, so that's, I mean, the boys, you know, he's 6'6", man, and 6 foot. Yeah, they supposed to be doing that. Don't impress me. Yeah, you big. Like, I mean, that don't impress me, man. When you got my 8-year-old daughter out here running an hour with me nonstop, that impresses me. That impresses me because I know that at times, you know, she can't sit down for 5 minutes at any given time. But she has the focus and the mental acumen to run for an hour, you know? Yeah. I get a kick out of that. That brings me great joy to see the progress that they've made.
And it's there's some days like because we don't go full 7 days, and we do take
Good night, buddy. Love you.
some sporadic, you know, either a Saturday or a Sunday off, and
Once in a while.
yeah, and then he'll decide he's gonna go, and he's like, "Oh, kids, you're fine. Just," he says, "I'm just gonna go for a run," and eventually, one of the kids will get ready, and they're like, he can't go by himself.
That's usually Phoenix.
Yeah.
That's Phoenix.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Phoenix or
Phoenix
Cali.
or Cali. One of the
Yeah.
girls. One of the girls.
Yeah.
The guys would be like, "Okay, see ya."
However,
It's like today. I went for a run the other day. Today's not a mandatory run. You guys take a day off, but I feel like just going for a run, a couple kilometers, 3 kilometers. Next thing I know, Phoenix jump up. Can't go by himself. The boys be like, "See you, Dad. Have a good run." Oh man.
So yeah, it's like so we're just wanting to touch base and you know that information that it's a lot of family involvement with the children, and when it goes hand in hand, especially with their education, because like we've noticed, there's you know, I guess we're looking at possibility of or we have one diagnosed with ADHD, one possibly dyslexia, and one with ADHD. I don't know. They're in the process right now of you know assessments. So, but what we found that works is exercise for them. Exercise and sleep, and we don't have as much. It's the shininess. However, just it keeps their focus longer. So they're exerting that energy, and then they're able to sit in their online classes.
And just be present. And here's an interesting talking point: is that the two oldest kids, Jordan and Jasmine, they have cell phones, and we actually, as a consequence to their behavior some time ago, they were having problems getting up and so on and so forth. So we thought that okay, obviously you're not getting enough sleep at night, so at night you're turning in your cell phones, and it was only supposed to be for a short amount of time or for.
Jordan might watch this.
right. Yeah, right. Yeah. However, the thing is that they haven't asked for them back, and it's been months. It's been months. They have their cell phone from when they get up in the morning, and they, you know, the entire day. But by 10 o'clock when it's bedtime, the cell phones get turned in. The benefit that we feel of that is, number one, is that we don't. We've seen and heard some reports about radio waves and so on and so forth, you know, and these kids tend to want to sleep with the phone right beside their head and so on and so forth.
And
so
then
we didn't.
the other thing is that you know notifications popping
Right.
up at night, so they're not actually getting rest. So we've asked them to turn in their cell phones, which goes right on the kitchen counter, and
Yeah, we
it
don't
stays
have
there.
it. It just
Yeah.
stays there, and then they come get it in the morning. It's no
So
big
from
deal.
10 to whatever time they get up, they don't have a cell phone.
And what that ensures is that, as Ray said, is they have that quality of rest. Because when you go into that REM sleep state, that deep sleep, you know, even though you might get a notification, even you get the ding, even though you might not wake up fully to answer it, it brings you up a few levels out of that deep sleep, and then you fight going back down into deep sleep. So now you spend your entire night going up and down, in and out of that deep sleep, and you wake up feeling exhausted. That's not good quality rest. So they've got a full night's sleep now, and the proof's in the pudding, because I mean they obviously see the benefit, because I mean they haven't asked for their phones back.
And that goes, well, everything goes hand in hand. So it's like their fitness, their nutrition,
Absolutely.
and their rest.
And
Because
lots of
they're-
water.
And lots of water.
Lots and lots of high quality H2O.
And so it's the littles, 8:30 is bedtime, and for them it's required, because yes, they are growing, and yes, they are exhausted after, it's not just, oh, we're going to stay at home kind of day.
Yeah.
Where we actually, they're very involved with their day to day.
We do the things differently in the Simpson home. Just because we're homeschooling, that doesn't mean that, the laptop is in bed with them or anything like that. No, it's like, hey, Space Jam juice. Space Jam juice, Carla, God bless you. Space Jam juice. That's from last night's conversation. Yeah, go on, sweetheart.
No, you were saying something and then you.
Yeah, I was saying Space Jam juice. Thanks, Carla.
Because I got distracted.
I mean, and you see where the kids get the shiny from, right? Yeah. But it's okay because, oh man,
Life is interesting.
It keeps it interesting. I mean, God doesn't leave you short God doesn't leave you short. I think that what it is that with for instance, let me talk about Noah for instance for a quick second. Like he's the 22-year-old and he grown now, and from jump, when during his assessment when he was young, way back when, during the course of his assessment, mom never followed through with that. However, we had started the process, and what the doctor had explained to me was simply that he processes the world differently, and I see that. It makes perfect sense to me. I see that. In his behavior, he just same as I process the world differently than a great many people would, and I think that what Callie, for instance, it's so difficult for her to sit at the computer and do that work. However, you put her at the art table and she'll sit there for 12 hours creating beautiful works of art. So it's like, Justice has a wonderful love for words. He just has
He
a
likes
great
cats.
he has a great love and respect for words, but he has no respect whatsoever for numbers. So math, while he can do it, he just has no respect for it. He has no use for it. So and then it brings me back to what I say from time to time. If only all our children were able to learn and how they were best able to learn. And regrettably, we don't live in that type of society. So and what happens is that we have labels for our children like ADHD and what was it first? It was first ADD, and then ADHD, and then so on and so forth. And I'm not saying that those are not actual things. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that I think that at one point we had more time. We had more time to spend time with our children and attend to their needs and ensure that all their needs were being met and realized. And this is not a knock against parents that have to work two jobs. And what I'm saying is, God bless you. I mean, I get it. I get it because
It's just more the system just fails to see our children as unique individuals. That's
boom,
what it is.
That's it. Mic drop. That's it.
That because they all learn differently.
That's right.
And plus also expectations. I really don't like placing expectations, but if you don't expect anything from your child,
that's what you're gonna get.
That's all you're gonna get.
It's nothing.
So it's just holding them accountable, but also just for them to learn at their own pace. Like Callie, I watch her do her work. So she's in this math app thing. However, because of how her little brain works,
Processes.
you have to she has to actually they have to fill in a box to answer the question, but she can't just put that box anywhere. It has to match. So she'll take 20 minutes
making these little boxes.
Perfect.
Because she has to make the boxes, and I'm like, why would they create this? Why wouldn't they have made the program more comprehensive and just have the boxes there, and all she has to do is fill in the numbers? But and that's neither here nor there. However,
it's just the way she processes everything, and it just takes everything so much longer for her to do.
And then of course she has to make all 50 boxes and then go back and start doing the equations and putting in the numbers. And then it's just the way she processes. It's just the way, oh geez, sorry about that. It's just the way that she does things. And it makes sense to her. So yeah, she's got to work with that. So, so then fitness becomes just, it's a great
outlet.
Yes, it absolutely is. Because as we know, exercise, creates those endorphins that causes feelings of happiness and euphoria and things like that, right? It's just a natural healing remedy. And I mean, if you decide to start a fitness journey and you want to lose weight effectively and safely, I encourage you to try running if you haven't ran. I never ran at any point in my life. I mean, I've been an athlete, a fairly decent athlete, in my high school years and so on and so forth. However, running was not something that, like, I was a sprinter, 100 meters, 200 was on the outside of what I wanted to do. No, for real.
I know you set a limit.
200 was like just on the outer edge. I remember the first time I ran 200 at Max Bell in a tournament, not a tournament, but track and field meet. Track and field meet. You had one every spring, every fall, every year. School track meet. Go to Max Bell. You know what I mean? And the first time I ran to 200, I went onto the velodrome stairs and threw up. And and that's what I decided. I think that was the last time I ran to 200, and I stuck to the 100 after that. So while I could run, and then of course, volleyball and basketball, running football, running short bursts and things like that, I never ran. As in, like, to say jog. I remember jogging with my sister Andreen when I was a child, younger. However, it's not anything that I ever sustained. And now I find that. Good night.
Love you.
Love you. Now I can run, and I mean, don't get it twisted. I don't run fast or nothing. Like, I mean, I got this really steady old man gait that I like to maintain.
It's like a shuffle.
It's more like an old man shuffle, but it's constant and it's consistent, and I can maintain it. Although I did improve it drastically my last run. I took about 5 to 7 minutes off my best time. So we'll see if I can. Tomorrow, I think, might be another run day. So I'll see if we can replicate that. But I paid the price because my body hurt after. But it felt great in the moment. And if you are able to, good night, sweetheart, love you. And if you are able to get to the point where, and I mean, it took a while, because I remember again, we started in this weather last year at this time, and I remember the first laps. Like, I mean, my first time I ran half a lap, and then and then it just became, the idea was to try to run more than I walked, and I remember the first time. All right.
Oh, sorry guys, that's
Good
her
night.
shield.
That's baby and her shield, and yeah.
Covered the whole camera.
And we and that's the value of Amazon delivery boxes. Everybody gets a sword and a shield. And let me tell you, I remember the first time I completed my first lap, and I will never forget the first time I completed my first lap, because it had been a goal that I had been working towards for weeks, months, and when I hit it, and I remember coming down, oh man, you try it for yourself. Just that sense. Try something new, anything new. If it's running, you've already done that. You've already climbed that mountain. Try something new, and then you set that goal, and then once you accomplish that, and then clap for your damn self. If nobody is there to clap for your damn self, you don't want to clap for yourself, call me, I'll clap for you. Hit me up, I'll clap for you. Right? Because you deserve that. You worked at it, I'll clap for you. And then nobody can take that from you, because some days are not as good as others when you're running, and that's life. But I can, when I'm having a bad day running, I can always draw on that memory, that sense of accomplishment and achievement that I had when I completed my first full lap. And that lap is what, 1.5 kilometers. It's no big deal, However, for me, it was an achievement, and I'm very, very proud of that. And this works because I do it with the family. It works because if I had to get up and go out there at this day, and I might not do it, I might not want to do it. However, because I see that there's value, I feel that there's value in this for my children, for our children, then we continue to do it. And I think that's what enables us to have longevity, the stick-to-itiveness. Winnipeg winters ain't no joke. I did a couple posts. You can check out our YouTube channel, and you'll find a couple posts that we did. We're out there -4. Was it -49 that one morning? or 39 with the wind chill. It was cold. I mean, we didn't have a lot of snow this year, but we had a lot of cold. That a couple weeks ago there was that cold spell, and I remember we got up that morning, and I looked at them kids, man, and they looked at me, and they wasn't happy. They wasn't happy, and I it would have been very easy for me to say, "Yup, we'll take this morning off because it's cold." And I looked at Jordan, GQ Jordy with the good hair, and I said to him, I said that it would benefit you, I think, to know that while you don't have to go out in weather like this, that you have it within you to do so. Right? I said that it would benefit you to cultivate that attitude that even though you don't have to go out in this weather, you know you have it in you. Because one day you never know, you might have to go perform in something. Like, you just never know what life has to offer. So it's good to know early on. Good night, son, love you. It's good to know early on what you got in here. It's good to know early on that you have the heart that is required to make it through this life. And if you identify that you don't, it's probably a good idea to cultivate it. That mental toughness, right? Because going out at minus 49 in the morning to do calisthenics and to run is not about being strong. It's not. That's about being mentally tough. And I think that will serve these children well in life. Now, of course, mom has no such delusions, so she's indoors in minus 49. That's why we have videos of ourselves working out from the inside the home.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you. Snitch.
You're right. However, she's working out on the
I
inside.
have a different
a routine
because I've got injuries from,
and she has her own injuries that she's working through as well. And so all our workouts, as best as we're able, we try to tailor them to each person because everybody is different a little bit. So while we're doing the same thing, for instance, if we're doing the push-ups in the steeplechase, baby, we do push-ups in sets of 25. Baby's number is not 25. Her number is, what's your number, baby? No. How many do you do total?
5.
You do 5 each position now? 5 each hand position? Yeah? Oh, so you're up to 25 now? Oh, good for you. Oh, congratulations. That's awesome. She's up to 20. What I'm referencing there, in one of the push-up sets that we do, it's a hand position thing. So you start here at 5 at this position. Move. I'll move this hand. Hand held 5 there. Both hands out wide, 5. And then so then you do 25. She had started out doing 3s. So her first number was 5 times 3 would be 15. Right. However, she's worked her way up. When we started doing the push-up thing last summer, she started out doing 3s, right? So, and now she's worked her way up to doing 25s. So then you do 25 push-ups, 25 crunches, and then we run what would be the equivalent of about we do the shorter laps now when we do the steeplechase. So we run the equivalent of about half a kilometer in between. And then you come back again, another 25. So by the time they're done, they do 300 push-ups and 300 crunches, and they can get that done about half hour, 45 minutes. They're quick on that one because they only have an hour for lunch, so they got to get. So what happens is first thing in the morning we go out for the bully juice warm up, so we have that calisthenic exercise, and that just really just engages their body, gets their body motor going, gets them warmed up, and so actually it's kind of funny to watch because when we're done at the back by the garage, then you see the littles, they're sprinting to the front because they got to get set up for class, get going in classroom, and that gives them that energy, that little extra. There's no law, there's nobody sleeping in class or anything like that because they've already had a workout. Even though it's 10 minutes, they've already had a 10-minute calisthenic workout before class. And so then by the time that their lunchtime comes around now, they only got an hour for lunch. So you got to get out, get that workout in, boom, whatever it is today. Like today was, what day was it today, baby? Steeplechase? Steeplechase. Today was steeplechase, so they got to get out. So yeah, they only have an hour for lunch, so they got 45 minutes to get that done. Then they got get something to eat quick, fast. Boom, back into class. So you know, and then over the course of the rest of the day, that's 2 workouts. That's our day, and then the rest of the day is their own after school.
Which and they love playing outside, so then they have more activity. So that's that free play where they can do as they please, and yeah, I think only baby really enjoys that one right now.
Going outside right now because
But
it's
she's
still
got to
snowing
take
ice.
the bigs with her.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, she's straight hustled it because I know, and the bigs, no, the littles. That'd be Ryder, Justice, and Brooke, and they're not happy. Like baby will come to me, Dad, can I go play at the park? And be like, okay, baby. But I know what's going on. I know that, it's just that. They're not happy because they want to be watching a movie or something, and now they got to go to the park, and they don't necessarily want to go to the park. However, it's a good idea for them to go outside and get some fresh air. So it's like, hurt feelings or not, go to the park. And an interesting talking point is that the littles haven't had any video games for how long now, baby?
A month, I think.
At least. How long has it been? About a month or two?
Or a couple weeks, I think.
It's been at least a month.
Yeah.
It's been at least a month they haven't had any video games because that was a consequence because they weren't acting right. They were wilding out. They were being unkind to one another. And when they were playing games, they weren't having fun. They were being hyper competitive and just, being generally unkind to one another. And so, they got a couple warnings and, the behavior persisted and then bam, it's like, hey, full shutdown. Took them away. I mean, the boys there, Ryder and Justice, we took their TV out their room, took the video games out, everything. Boom. Shut them down. It was...
It's been a blessing, though, because one, they don't ask.
Good night, baby.
And then they're more creative with their time.
Right.
So, like Justice is drawing and he's reading and then he's interacting with the other children. And so it just allows him to, and actually all of them, because video games are highly addictive. Highly addictive. Ryder went through, it was a couple years ago.
When we took him off Fortnite.
Yeah, we took him off Fortnite because we were concerned about, the violence and we're just becoming more aware of what video games do to children. And so he was consistently on this video game. And then we watched his behavior start changing and then we're like, okay, Fortnite, just take it off all platforms or all machines and no more. And he actually had a withdrawal from the video game.
Oh, he was not happy with me. And what it was that I had heard a story that here in the city a little while ago, a young boy had taken the life of another young boy over something that had been done in the video game. And I was like, and that trauma and addiction, when you are involved in the study of trauma and addiction and recovery, as I am, then you learn things. And one of the things that I learned along the way, my research showed me, was that there are studies that suggest that the same pathways that are activated in children when they play video games and so on and so forth, that reward mechanism is the same as in adults, that the same endorphins that they get from doing drugs. And so when you take
it's not even, it'd be all addictions.
Yeah, all
shopping,
addictions. Whatever.
Yeah. I just want to...
Thank you. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. So when you're a child, you tell them to get off that video game and they have that little mini temper tantrum, they have that little mini meltdown. It's not necessarily, it's not really just that. It's actual withdrawal. And there's a lot more scientific studies that are coming out to support that position. And so we take a position of all things in moderation. And so the video game thing right now, that's just where we are right now. And they haven't asked for it back. And as soon as they come to us and they be like, can we play our video games again? We'll be like, well, yeah.
Another thing is, because...
They haven't asked.
Yeah.
And they keeping themselves busy.
It's a win-win for everybody.
They haven't asked. And they're keeping themselves busy. I mean, they still happy, they still smiling, they're engaged, and they haven't asked. What do you want me to do? I'm not going to volunteer. They haven't asked.
Yeah, and it just also leads into what they put into, or what they watch. That's the other thing that we monitor is that nothing violent. Everything's age appropriate, and
And I mean, in some instances, you can't stay away from the violence completely. However, we do monitor and we try to ensure everything is age appropriate. Yeah.
and that goes all around, because it does have an effect, especially with aggressive behaviors. Because what you see on TV is actually what children will start emulating,
Yeah.
as it would be in domestic violence. You know, if one partner is violent to the other, the children are going to emulate that. So it's very important that we are aware of what we allow our children to watch, where they spend their time, and just be more constructive and creative with their time. Especially with phones. We don't have phones at dinner time. You put
No.
your phone away,
Yeah.
you're interacting, you're engaging, because how many times have you been driving down the street and you see somebody just walking with their head down in their phone? Or you have a bunch of teenagers in a room with their phones, nobody talks, and they're all staring into a phone. So there's
And
that
they'll
lack
actually
of-
text each other when they're sitting beside each other instead of talking and interacting or sitting across the room or something. They'll text each other. She gets upset with me because I'll text the boy downstairs. I'll text the big guys downstairs. I'll be like, "Can you?" And she'll be like, "You better not push send."
Yeah, so that's the thing is like cell phones. If you're in a room with other people, put your phone away. And I'm just as guilty as everybody else. And it's funny because I get called out by the kids and I have to put my phone away.
I mean, Callie, baby, call everybody out. She don't
Yeah.
care. She don't care. Like, I mean, her and Noah and Jordan would have some epic battles at the dining room table, and especially Jordan, he'd get so salty. She'd be like, she'd be like, "No phone at the dining room table, Jordan," and he just get straight up salty. Yeah, he'd have some crackback or something, and then I'd give him I'd raise my eyebrow or something, and cause I don't get involved. I mean, baby done already spoke. That's what I need to get involved for. You know the house rules. There's no phone at the table. What you doing? And Noah, yeah, he get right salty with her. But I mean, hey, what you gonna do? Like, I mean, and she don't give them no. Like, oh man, she horrible. She's a tyrant. She is an absolute tyrant. What you looking at me for? What you looking at me for?
That's his fault.
What you mean it's my fault?
Baby don't do no wrong. Yeah.
What? I mean, the interesting thing about that is that when Jordan, even though he's not the youngest, Justice is the youngest, Jordan was always the baby, in that previous situation. He never really got to see my ass. I mean, I recognized very early on that he was a different dude, and and not only that, but I'd been on a journey of healing for a lot longer than, anybody really knows. I mean, I recognize that, I didn't care for the behavior. However, I was in a situation where, okay, so let me give you context. For instance, I was involved in a course in domestic violence earlier on in the relationship because I identified that the behavior was not right, so I wanted to change it. And I learned something in that course very early on. I was so excited to go home and share it with my partner because I thought this is revolutionary. This is a game changer. This is going to change the game. This is going to help me, right? So I'm going to share it with you so that we can go on this journey together. And I remember, and the information was just quite simply this. If you are in a situation with your spouse, and it's sensible information, it's sensible information to keep both parties safe, and you feel yourself escalating, or the other person, the situation itself is escalating, just quite simply call a timeout. 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 You know what? This is turning into something nasty. This is turning into something ugly. Let's table this and revisit it later, right? And I thought, wow, wow. Mind blown, right? And I'm like, so I took this information home, and I'm like, yeah. So if I just ask for a timeout, you gotta let me go. No, of course, absolutely, and I mean that Carla said I'd like to hear more about Rachel's background stories and lived life stories. No offense, Ian, none taken. What this looks like is it for her it has to happen more organically, and while I'm more in a place where I'm ready to more ready to share my experiences because that helps me to heal from my own trauma. She's still working to that place, and
Mine are
she
still
will
raw.
she will work and little by little she hopes to be able to share more of herself. However, I've learned to honor her time frame, and to honor that has to be organic and it has to come from her. And absolutely, yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you, Carla. High five. Yeah. However, it has to kind of just, when she's ready, yeah, she has this thing like when you see her hand disappear, like she squeezed my knee under the table, and that tell me to shut up. And then so yeah, yes, absolutely, yeah. And which story was I working on, baby?
Jordan. So it was, you were talking about your revolutionary timeout.
Huh?
Your revolutionary timeout that you learned. Oh, you were.
What are we
where
talking
were you?
about?
You were talking about
Yeah,
it.
I know, but what was I talking about? Shiny, shiny, I'm shiny.
You were talking about going to that for domestic violence.
Right.
Learning
Thank
about
you.
timeout,
Thank you. Thank
and it
you.
was
Thank you. Thank you.
revolutionary.
Thank
There
you.
you go.
And so I went, yes, and that timeout, and I should be able to say timeout. You know, this is going to be becoming a place where it potentially could become unsafe for either parties involved, and that should be okay. And I remember sharing that with my partner in her time, and her looking at me and saying that, you're the one with the anger management problem, not me. I don't see why I should have to be punished. So yeah. And I was like, but the guy said that this was supposed to work. What do you mean? so oh hey buddy, hey guys, and let me get out the way here and see where that segues into. See if you want to share one of your stories there.
No,
my love.
you were just talking about how with Jordan that he was able to
Sorry, guys.
because he was at a different stage in your journey.
Right,
And
right,
so
and
when you
yes.
had so he had.
He
the
never
different
saw a
dad.
lot of that. He had a different, yeah, he never saw a lot of that. And even
Mm-hmm.
Nathan, thank you, my love. And even Nathan, when, that was very difficult for him because, like, it was one point Nathan was like, oh, what's up with Jordan? You never get mad at him and this, that. I'm like, I know, I was wrong. I'm trying to do better. And, yeah, so when Jordan came over now and then he saw he was no longer the baby. He just gave me a look over his shoulder. He said he was no longer the baby, and that was an adjustment phrase for him. Believe it or not, all 6'4" of him, and it was, yeah. He needed to get used to,
Sharing.
yeah, sharing my attention because he was no longer the baby, even though he never really was. He was just always treated that way, right? But yeah, so that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead, baby.
No, and so this is where our life is at now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been adjustments over time,
Mm-hmm.
but also family involvement. And I feel that because we're all involved and we're all on board with, this plan, it's more successful.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, fitness in our home plays a lot of roles. So it's either dealing with stress management, dealing for me with anxiety and PTSD, or a lot of the stuff that I carry. And then for the children, it's their energy levels, and for you, it's maintaining your well-being, because he's fighting things that he has no control over, but he can control how long it's going to take.
Well said.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just completely committed to the idea that, through prayer and hard work, that we can manifest our best lives. And so that's really what we're over here doing.
Yeah. And so, and Carla, it's over time you'll see more There is possibly, like, I'm really working and, gathering my strength in domestic violence. That is actually where my heart is, advocating in that piece, because I'm still going through in regards to dealing with the trauma from my past, working through that, and being able to work with him, because unfortunately he pays for, not pays for,
I
but
don't know. I don't pay.
he witnesses me go through, and so he's feeling everything that I'm going through, and so this is my journey. And eventually I want to get to a point is to advocate for women, because the system is not working. It hasn't worked for me.
Especially women where, baby?
Yes, and women on First Nations. I've been there, dealt with it, and I'm still dealing with it. And when I say still dealing with it, means that I'm still getting triggers from my ex, and nobody cares.
And let me point out that,
Yeah.
my ex went ahead and tracked down her ex who lives 4 hours out of town. And then the two of them got together and they send CFS to the house. They send the cops to the house, doing well next year. And it's just one continuous stream of excitement after another. But we're blessed. Because we can honestly say that, what everything they throw at it, I mean, they fighting our God. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sending us positive God vibes. We received that, and we don't fight them no more. We lead that battle to God, and it's been very frustrating for them, because they haven't had any victories, because God don't lose any battles. So we just turned that over to God, and we maybe that's why we pour so much into the children, to keep us from thinking about that, because it's enough to drive us mad. If we were to just, if we were to spend any amount of time thinking on, I mean, it is relentless and it is constant, but it's okay, because we're blessed. We're blessed. And I mean, we're gonna do a segment on DV very soon, domestic violence. It's been in her heart, and I'm just waiting for her to give me the go ahead, because I know that it's not going to be it's going to be a very emotional segment, and it'll be difficult and emotionally draining. What did we do? We did bilateral. No, was it bilateral aggression? What was it called? What was it again?
Sorry.
Displaced, excuse me.
Displaced, yeah.
Displaced aggression, and she needed a good, solid few days to, get back centered, and before we could tackle another tough topic. So, we're working up to that, and what my hope in that, once we do get to that, is that she'll be able to speak to that individual who perhaps is in the planning stages of making a change.
And encouragement.
Yeah, because it's not my story. I can't tell it. God, I wish I could. It is absolutely magnificent. It is a magnificent story, Carla. It is, oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
and this is part of my healing. And I just want to get to the point where I can actually speak and not have to deal with all the fallout, even just the next day, 2 days. And yes, PTSD sucks. Yes, anxiety sucks. Social anxiety and dissociative anxiety. That's what violence does to you, trauma. And I'm glad now I know what's going on with me and doing what I have to do, and I'm supported and on my healing journey. So eventually, however, hang in there.
Please, yeah,
Hang in there.
stick around for the ride. We have so much more to share. Yeah, absolutely. And we're coming up on about an hour now, and I think you got anything else you wanna?
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, you've had a full day. She just got out of it. She's learning Ojibwe. Love the respect for you guys have for each other. Thank you, Carla. I mean, she's my best friend. Absolutely is. She's my road dog. She's my partner in crime. She's my co-pilot. She's just, yeah. I mean, it's like I've always been
I like
a
the
Rolling Stone.
I always like the one is like I'm his ride or die as long as he's gonna feed
Yeah, as
me.
long as I feed her, she good. As long as I feed her, it's like, okay, baby, we got to go do blah blah blah. Well, can we eat first? Well, we can eat on the way, baby. We can eat on... So she might ride or die as long as I feed her on the way. She good to go. Yeah, yeah. I just thank you for hanging out with us, Carla. We appreciate you so much. And yeah, I would say that I'll end with this. I mean, like anything else, our relationship requires work. We intentionally work at our relationship. We do. We intentionally make time for each other. We intentionally care for each other. We intentionally try to learn each other's love language so that we can love each other the way we best want to be loved.
And we laugh with each
A
other,
lot.
not at each other.
Oh,
There's-
hey. Fifi says to us one day before we left on the other side, when we lived on the other side of town, she says, because the kids go to bed early, 8:30, and at that place we were down in the basement. And, she's like, I'd be lying in bed and I'd hear you guys just laughing downstairs. And she goes, and I just felt so bad because I felt like I was missing out. I'm missing out on the fun. And so yeah, it's something else. But I just, for me, it is vitally important that I set the bar ridiculously high for my daughters, because there's no way that a guy like who I used to be is gonna come in and take advantage of my daughters. That's not gonna happen, not in my lifetime. So it is incumbent upon me to set the bar, to set the example, to lead the charge, to lead the way, to show them how to properly love as best as I'm able, how to properly love their mom as best as I'm able, how to properly love them, so that they know how they should be loved by the men in their life, period. That is my solemn charge. That is my solemn duty. And conversely, it is my duty to show the boys. Because it's not just about showing the women how they ought to act and how they should be treated. And it's about showing the boys how they need to be treated. I am so tired of boys will be boys. I am so tired of toxic masculinity. Let's start teaching our boys how to be young men. Gentlemen. Ain't nothing wrong with holding a door for a lady. Ain't nothing wrong with, putting her chair, pushing her chair in and standing up if she's getting up. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Chivalry is not dead. We can teach our men, our children, to be decent, kind gentlemen and put an end to this rape culture. I'm tired of it. I'm over it. I got daughters. I'm over it. Sorry about that.
Okay, it's bedtime.
Apparently, I need a nap.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So that's what we have to say tonight on fitness, I think. And fitness is you can't understate the importance of being healthy. Giving yourself a chance at a long, healthy life. And that starts with making healthier choices with what you put into your body, right? Because again, let's go through some definitions. Diet is a noun. It's a person, place, or a thing. It's not a verb. It's not something that we do. It's something that we all have. And we either have good ones or bad ones. And if you're making poor dietary choices, make a decision to make better.
And the other one.
Hey, Tony, God bless you, brother. Thanks for stopping in.
The other one we like to use is your vehicle runs on gas.
That's right.
And do you fill your gas tank until
it's overflowing and pouring out on the ground?
Are you putting in either diesel or oil into your gas tank and just clogging up everything?
Right.
So those are things that we talk to the kids about, is putting in what your body needs and
in the right amounts.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's so important. Mm-hmm. All right. That's fitness in the Simpson family home. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for coming along for the ride. God bless you all. God keep you. And we'll hope to see you again next time.